James had always prided himself on being a hardworking man. He had spent his entire life providing for his only son, Ryan, ensuring he never lacked anything. After his wife passed away when Ryan was just a boy, James dedicated himself to raising him with love, discipline, and everything he could afford. He worked tirelessly, often taking double shifts, so Ryan could have a comfortable life. But now, at 70, James found himself standing on the cold front porch of his son's house, suitcase in hand, heart heavy with disbelief. Just an hour ago, Ryan had asked him to leave. Not with anger or cruelty in his voice, but with the exhausted frustration of a man who felt like he had run out of options. "Dad, I lost my job last week. I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want to worry you, but things are bad. I can barely afford the mortgage, let alone take care of another person. I need you to understand. I need you to go." James had simply nodded, too stunned to argue. He had always taught Ryan to be responsible, to stand on his own feet, and now, in a cruel twist of fate, Ryan was applying those lessons in a way James had never imagined. The cold wind bit into his face as he pulled his old coat closer. He had nowhere to go. His pride stopped him from telling Ryan the truth. He had never mentioned the secret fortune he had amassed over the years, quietly investing, saving, and securing a future neither of them ever knew they'd need. James walked down the quiet suburban street, his mind replaying memories of raising Ryan, teaching him how to ride a bike, celebrating his college graduation, and watching him become a man. He sighed deeply. Perhaps it was time for another lesson, one Ryan would never forget. The next morning, Ryan woke up feeling guilty. He had spent a restless night tossing and turning, thinking about the look on his father's face. He had been desperate, but had he been too harsh? Still, the thought of financial ruin had gripped him so tightly that he had convinced himself he had no choice. A week passed. Then 2. Ryan expected his father to call, maybe ask to come back. But the phone never rang. Anxiety gnawed at him. He had searched for jobs relentlessly but found nothing. Bills were piling up, and his fridge was nearly empty. Then, one evening, a knock came at his door. He opened it hesitantly, surprised to see a well-dressed man standing there. "Mr. Ryan Dawson?" the man asked. Ryan nodded cautiously. "I'm here on behalf of James Dawson. He wanted me to deliver this." The man handed Ryan a thick envelope. Ryan hesitated before opening it, his fingers trembling slightly. Inside, he found a letter from his father, written in his familiar handwriting. "My dear son. Life has a way of testing us when we least expect it. I understand your struggles, and I hold no anger in my heart. I never wanted you to feel burdened by my presence, which is why I never told you about the wealth I accumulated over the years. I saved, invested, and built a fortune, not for myself, but for you. I wanted you to grow into a man who could stand on his own. But I also wanted you to understand something more important: money comes and goes, but kindness, compassion, and family remain. You made a decision in a moment of fear, and I forgive you. I hope you learn from it. I've arranged for all your debts to be paid and set up a fund that will help you find your footing again. But wealth means nothing without wisdom. Use this opportunity wisely, my son. With love, always. Dad." Ryan's eyes welled up as he finished reading. He looked up at the man, who simply smiled. "Your father wanted you to have a chance to rise again," he said. "He believes in you." Ryan's knees felt weak. Shame and gratitude flooded him in equal measure. He had been so blinded by his own struggles that he had failed to see the strength and generosity in his father. Without another thought, he grabbed his phone and dialed James' number. When his father answered, his voice was warm and steady, as if he had been expecting the call. "Dad, I'm so sorry," Ryan choked out. "I should have never sent you away. I was scared, but I should have trusted you. Please come back." James chuckled softly. "Son, I never left you. I just stepped back to let you see things from a different perspective. I love you. Ryan wiped his eyes. I love you too, Dad. And I promise, I'll never let fear make my decisions for me again. As he ended the call, a newfound determination settled in his heart. His father had given him more than money, he had given him a second chance, a lesson in resilience, and a reminder of what truly mattered. And this time, Ryan would not waste it.